Hello, everybody. You're listening to Profoundish. My name is Alex, and I'll be joining Weston to reminisce about some of our favorite video game memories. After that, Weston and I will be playing a classic game, Kiss, Marry, Kill, but with a twist. We will only be able to choose from video game animals and video game creatures. No humans allowed. It's gonna get weird. All right, let's go. This is Profoundish. Here we go.
The Mario knockoff.
I was gonna say that's a cheap knockoff.
I'm the cheap Chinese Mario.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Profoundish, the show where, I don't know, two buddies just are kind of talking about things, going through things. Right? What are we doing?
I'm a buddy. I like to talk about things.
He likes to talk about things. My name is Alex Duquette. What's your name?
I'm Weston Hasty.
Weston Hasty. What are you up to these days, Weston?
I'm up to writing my name.
Are you writing it down with a pencil like right now as we speak?
Yes, I actually have. I have my choice in flavors. I have both a pencil and a pen. I can do either or. And if I reach over to my other table, I think I see a highlighter. I think somewhere. Oh, yep, I see it. I've got a Sharpie. I've got a colored pencil. And
my gosh.
I think my box of crayons is downstairs.
Listen, I am genuinely surprised at the amount of access you have to different writing utensils right now. I have a giant mug in my kitchen, and I've had the same mug since I was a middle schooler, and it's just got a bunch of pens in it, and I guarantee half of the pens are probably out of ink. It's got a couple of, like, dull pencils that are, like, really short. Like, I'm just surprised. I don't think I even have a highlighter in this house.
I have a lot of stuff. I mean, usually they've just come from school or I've collected them over the years somehow. I have a surprising amount of stuff. It's actually funny. So for those of you listening that aren't familiar, I live stream on a gaming channel on YouTube called Magic Man Mo. And while I'm streaming, sometimes it's not too common, but sometimes something will come up. Some random thing will show up, like there'll be a knife on screen or a lighter or duct tape or something, and I'll have access to it on my desk, and I'm like, hang on, I'll get my duct tape, and I can see my duct tape from here, or my lighter, or my giant kitchen knife that I just keep on my desk for no reason. I've
seen you pull out the knife.
Yeah, it's always a good October Halloween sort of thing to pull out in all the scary horror games where it's like they're chasing you down. I'm like, stop, I'll get you, I'll stab you.
You know what? That's great for, like, on a creator side, because for those of you who also may not know, I am also a creator more on the musical side and entertainment side in other ways. However, and it could be just because we also, I'm kind of a neat freak, but I wish I had just like quick improvisational access to random things on my desk because I could have fun with it. But I don't keep anything on my desk, so I just don't. I'm not just gonna grab like my hard drive and swing it around like a lasso.
I could do
that's
that.
Not fun.
I have my external hard drive right here, and it's got its little cord. I could swing it around. I've got that as well.
Woohoo!
That's the difference between you and me. See, you're a neat freak. You like to clean up. Oh God, I'm looking around the room right now. It's a disaster. You'd have a heart attack in here.
Hey, right now live, will you take a quick picture and send it to me?
Oh Christ!
Could you do that?
I could
take a picture of your dirtiest spot in your room.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to send you... Actually, well, I got two options for that, but one of them is more interesting to look at because one of them is a box just full of junk. Or not a box, several boxes full of junk. But here, I want to send you... this is my... I want to send you my table. This is my table that I organize things on, write things on, whatever. This is where the bulk of my just crap and just my junk ends up. Is just on this table. Here's a picture of my table.
Oh, no.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die.
The power of technology. We can do this. It's
I've
like
set
I'm in
the
the
text.
Room. All right.
Do you see it? Do you see it yet?
Not yet. I'm sure it's coming.
You can see my duct tape in the corner when you do.
Oh, I'm so nervous about this.
I've got a plate
Holy
with some trash.
crap!
I've got my Bluetooth speaker. I've got a wine stopper. I've got some toothpaste.
Weston.
I have a box that my tablet came in. I have some Huel.
Weston, I need to stop you from talking. Listen.
Yeah.
This makes me want to vomit.
I told you were gonna die. The table's got everything on it. I've got some koozies.
God.
I've got some Reese's candy.
You're a monster. You got soap. You got this like random black box. It looks like it's got like you got Icy Hot. Not a sponsor. I think you got a book up there. Oh my gosh! Next to the soap, just in case you feel dirty.
I've got right next to the soap. That's a package of razors.
You have like I wish we could paint this picture. Oh my gosh. Geez, we might have to put this on our Instagram so you guys can see this.
No, I hope there's nothing private on there. I don't think there is, but I hope there's
Well, look, if there's not, this is going on Instagram. I'll remember that. I've got this picture now.
It's terrifying.
My gosh. By the way, on Instagram, follow us at, what is it, Profoundish Pod?
At Profoundish Pod. He has to ask me because I'm the one that made it.
He's the one that made it, and they, as of the recording of this, they're fairly freshly made, so we're,
fresh.
You know, we just, but yeah, follow us. So, listen, enough about messiness. You know what kind of people are often messy?
Other than me?
Gamers.
Ah, yes,
Other than
of
you.
course.
Well,
I am a gamer,
gamer,
actually. This checks out.
So, you are a gamer. I'm a gamer, too. I happen to be a clean one.
Yeah, it's because you're a musician first and a gamer second. That's why. I know what you're on to.
Okay, well,
yeah,
say what you want. Say what you want. But I do love games. You love games, too. You know, one of the biggest things that we always go back to in terms of our conversation is always video games, right? You and I both have a large, giant, bountiful...
Let's go on.
I don't know where I was going to go with
bountiful,
that.
I thought you were about to say bountiful buttocks.
Bountiful buttocks. No, we have a large love for video games. We always have. Okay. And I thought since it's probably going to be no surprise to you and I that we're probably going to cover and talk about video games kind of at length as the show goes on, just because it's a giant world, a giant industry, and we have a lot to say about it, and we have a lot to love about it. So I thought a great way to maybe start talking about games on Profoundish is to start at the very beginning and go over some of our favorite video game memories.
Oh, no.
What do you think?
Oh, no.
Childhood video game
memories. They're flooding back.
They're flooding back. Tears streamed down his cheek. But just one. Oh, what an age. Remember that one?
Oh, what an age. I don't remember what the context was, but...
So, I think it was on one of my YouTube videos. I don't know which one. It was probably a medley of some kind. And then you saw one of the songs on there, and he said, you said, I haven't seen that show in an age. Oh. And usually people would say, of course, that the standard way to say it is in ages, right? That plural.
In ages, or I haven't seen it in forever. And I was like, no. I haven't seen this show in an age.
So he said in an age, and I said, oh, just one age? Question mark. It just kind of being kind of tongue in cheek. And then you said, yes, but oh, what an age it was. That's so good.
That's just the way I talk, especially over text. I don't know. I've read a lot of books in my time. This isn't about books today, but I've read a lot of books in my time, and I find that the way that I type naturally is not the way I speak to people. So like the age thing, it's like no one says it like that, but I do.
But what an age it was. So let's talk about your childhood video game memories age. Do you remember your first exposure to video games?
Roughly, I don't have the best memory in general. And especially when I'm trying to think back to being a itty bitty tiny child, like it's really fuzzy. So when I think about my first exposure to gaming, I'm not honestly sure which kind of came first. If it was my exposure to PC gaming or my exposure to console gaming, they're roughly the same era. But when I think of that, there are two different categories that I think of. It's basically like the humongous games entertainment or humongous entertainment game, whatever the heck they were. Humongous, the people that did like Pajam Sam, Spy Fox, those games, the backyard sports games. That was my PC gaming exposure, early days. And then like Spyro was like my early days console gaming on the PlayStation 1. Those are like in a realm in the same sort of time period for my gaming. There were other games, of course, but that's what I think of when I try to think as early back as I can. Right.
Well, talk about a big jump. If you're going from like those humongous games like Pajama Sam and stuff to Spyro. I mean, Spyro, it's a big sprawling world. That's a big jump, especially if that was a pretty quick transition from one to the other.
Spyro was magical. Like, I just loved
Also, wonderful game, yes.
Wonderful game. So the whole trilogy I love. Spyro the Dragon was the first game. Spyro Ripto's Rage is the second game. If you are from outside the US, you might know it as Spyro Gateway to Glimmer. And it's the third game, Spyro Year of the Dragon. The whole trilogy, loved very much. Especially the transition from the first game to the second game is a massive transition. Two very different feeling games, but in the same sort of universe, and they made tons of improvements. But even with the first game, there's a certain magic that comes from my nostalgia factor of having played that game first, and the limitations of the era in terms of like draw distance, so what you could see in the distance. There were parts in that game that you could see pretty far, and it was open and it was magical, and there's like mountains and fields, and there's a lot going on. But then there were also like especially the swamp. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was called, the swamp area or whatever, that was really misty and dark, and all the creatures in it were like, because of the polygons on the console at the time,
right,
not very well rendered, right? They were just kind of like smudgy and gross and scary. So it had everything from awe-inspiring vistas to just down and dirty and gross monsters. It had everything in between for a small child of my age. And I don't know, it just opened, like you said, it was vast and sprawling. Some levels felt massive, some much more intimate. I don't know, it had everything.
Yeah, very colorful. And yeah, I mean, and you got to give some of that a pass. It was the early days of 3D gaming, but honestly, like now a great way to play it too. I really think they did a lot of care and effort with the trilogy, or with the Reignited trilogy.
Yeah, the Reignited trilogy is really, really great.
Yeah, it is really good. I share a pretty similar, actually very similar, because I played a lot of Spyro too, especially that first one. But I guess I did that a little bit later. I can kind of, a little bit, I'd say, better recall where I started with my video game journey. So
sure,
my mom was a gamer. So, and actually still is. She still games, like legit, playing all kinds of games on her Switch. It's hilarious to me. But she'll come home. She'll be working on the farm, and then she comes inside and she'll turn on Zelda or Luigi's Mansion or whatever game she's playing on there.
Luigi's Mansion. But, she's a woman of fine taste. Love that game.
She is a distinguished woman. I see.
Distinguished woman. Yes, quite indubitably.
But yeah. So there's early pictures of me as a 1-year-old watching the TV as my mom and my dad were playing Zelda, like the new one that was out at that time in the early 90s. So it was in my household from 1 onwards, and I'd say my first time playing it, so there's two kind of sides here. For me, I had a little bit older cousins I'd spend the summers with them, and they'd always bring their consoles over, and they had 2 consoles. They had a Super Nintendo, and they had a PS1. So that was my first exposure to consoles, so that's where the Spyro came in, a lot of Crash Bandicoot, and then some of the more adult games that my mom would never in a million years really let me play, that were also on the PS1. And then we, of course, had a lot of Super Nintendo memories too. But really, that came a little bit later. At first, for me, it wasn't the humongous games on PC, but it was the computer games. But for me, it was, well, first of all, was Putt-Putt. Was that humongous?
Putt-Putt was humongous, believe it or not.
Okay. So Putt-Putt was the only game of that company that I played, but I played the crap out of Putt-Putt.
I loved Putt-Putt. I love Putt-Putt Goes to Mars and the Zoo, Goes to the Zoo. Those were my 2 big ones.
Oh my gosh. Yes, the zoo! Oh,
come to the zoo. I loved it.
About that. Which one's the one where you have to mow the big lawn?
That's like that's the first one. Putt-Putt Goes to the Parade.
Okay, Parade. I remember that one too.
I love the mow. I mowed so many lawns in that game.
Dude, I think that's where my love of lawn mowing comes from. That's why I play a lawn mowing simulator now, dude. It's all because of Putt-Putt. I can thank Putt-Putt for that.
I only recently played Lawn Mowing Simulator, and you know that because you actually missed me streaming it. And I
know, I'm so mad about it.
It was supposed to be like a gag game. I happened to have it. I'm going to play this on stream. It'll be kind of funny. And I noticed like halfway through, I'm like, I'm actually feeling super zen. I could play this for hours.
That's what I'm saying. When I first started playing it, I remember you told me, this is months and months ago, you said, this seems like something you'd be into. Almost like, yeah, this is something that you'd be into, Alex.
Well, yeah, I still stand by that. I think you'd be more into it than me. But even me, I was like hearkening back, like, just mowing a lawn, like those putt days.
This is so funny. I remember when I first was playing, really quick, I got to give a little lawn mowing simulator story. When I first got into that game, I thought, this is going to be perfect. But this happened to be during a time where I was kind of busy at my day job. So I would come home and it'd be really late. And then I would start playing the game. And then I'd go like for 30, 45 minutes. I'm already sleepy. So I'm like, I can only mow like one lawn, right?
Which takes like a half an hour plus to do usually.
Exactly. So I remember one time I was mowing and I was actually sitting up at the computer with the controller in my hands. And then I accidentally fell asleep while playing because no surprise, right? I mean, it's a very zen game, like you said.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, but I was dozing in and out, right? That's more what it was. I didn't just flat out fall asleep. I was dozing in and out, and I remember, like, I kind of finished it, kind of half-assed. It wasn't great, but I got docked points because
you took so long.
No, not because that was one reason, but the other reason was because I mowed over their whole flower bed, and I didn't even know it. So that must have been during one of the times when I kind of dozed off. So needless to say, I lost that client. So
that's amazing.
But anyway, yeah, putt-putt was super fun, but more of my PC memories as a 3-4-year-old, maybe 5 too, around that era, was actually Fisher-Price games.
Oh, yeah. Fisher-Price has a bunch of games I don't remember the names of that I know I've played.
Well, you know what? You probably do know the names because they were literally as generic as you could go. So there was Castle. That was the medieval one.
Was that the one? Was that the one where you have to save, like, I don't know, like 7 knights or something at the end, kill a dragon or something? Yeah.
Save the seven nights or 6 nights or something. Yeah. I remember there was a mini game in there where you could with a cannonball. I remember that. You could go to the moat.
I barely remember any of the mini games. I remember playing that in preschool. They had it on the preschool computer, and any chance I could get on that computer, I would play that game.
Castle, man. There was another one. It was just as generically named, but I can't remember. But it was like, I think it was called like Cowboy or like Western or something like that. And it was a Western one. Those are the two that I specifically remember a lot. And I played those games to death. My dad was probably just looking for ways to keep me distracted when I visited him on the weekends because he had a brand new cutting-edge computer at the time that he recently got, and it was just filled with Fisher-Price computer games. But
amazing.
A lot of fun, and that really kind of brought me into. Then that's when I discovered my cousins in the console games, and that's the love sprawled from there. But there was a lot of other probably in-betweeners that I kind of forgot. But yeah, a lot of my early games were those. And then I also pretty early on was into the simulation games, like not too long later. And I know you probably share some of that too.
Yeah, I actually got hit with the simulation games really early because at around the same time, I'm playing the Humongous Game stuff. I was introduced to Roller Coaster Tycoon, which is like a theme park simulator. And eventually, a little bit after Roller Coaster Tycoon, but not a lot, I got introduced to one of the SimCity games, which at my age, I had no idea how to play that game. But I was playing. Those are my two sort of simulator games that I played a lot as a kid. And I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon. Spent a lot of time on that game, for sure.
Oh my gosh, the memories. I would spend I just loved... You know what, my favorite part... And we probably played, even though we both have a love for similar kinds of games, we probably did both play these very differently, knowing us. One thing that I loved is that I could go through the actual file explorer in the computer, and you can add your own custom music to each of the rides.
That was far too technological for me. I didn't know anything about that. I also didn't care. Just play the carnival, the carnival, the merry-go-round music on everything. I don't care.
No, that was my... Please tell me that did you change the name of the rides, or is it just Ferris Wheel 1?
No, I absolutely had to have a name for every ride.
Okay, good. So what I would do, that was always my final touch with Roller Coaster Tycoon, were the songs. But I would go through, I had songs on my parents' computer or my mom's computer, and then I would add, if it fit, boom, I'd throw it on there. One thing you probably don't know about Roller Coaster Tycoon and me is that I played... Well, let me tell the quick story here. So I loved SimCity first. I was a SimCity 3000 kid around that same time. And then I had a neighbor, and he was like, hey, there's a game that's kind of like this, but it's roller coasters and theme parks. And little 6-year-old Alex, heck yeah, bring it on. You want to borrow my game? Sure. He ended up making me, and I didn't notice at the time, but it was a pirated copy of the game.
I think I remember you telling me about this years ago. Actually,
I might have told you about that. I still have this CD. I've never legally owned Roller Coaster. Well, I guess, I do now because I bought it through Steam. So
Yeah, it's
I
available on Steam, which if any of you listening want to play Roller Coaster Tycoon, like the original with its expansions, I think it still holds up. I still prefer it over the 3D one, the Roller Coaster 3D.
Me too. It still holds up
likes.
great. It's an incredible sandbox. It runs amazing. Like, definitely play that game. But yeah, so I was playing a pirated copy of of Roller Coaster Tycoon. FBI, open up.
Sorry, I was coughing over here. I don't know if that came through or not. I was dying.
Nope, it didn't come through. It didn't come through
FBI,
like
open
my Thunder
up.
did last time.
Return your roller coasters.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Those are some
I'll buy it.
bootleg
I'll
coasters.
promise.
I don't believe you. You're coming downtown.
You're going downtown, kid. He's like walking through and he sees like dead bodies laying everywhere, but he doesn't care about that. And he's just, all right, kid, give me the CD.
You wouldn't pirate a car. Or whatever those old VHS tape pirate warnings used to say. You wouldn't,
you and I had a funny
pirate a skyscraper.
You and I had a funny little inside joke that we talked about not too long ago, where it was like, there's like the foot detective, and he walks in and it's like, all right, what's the smell? And he walks in there, and, well, we got a middle-aged foot, Caucasian, probably about 45, beat up, and he goes, I know a foot when I smell one. That's so stupid. No one else is probably laughing, but I thought it was, I know a foot when I smell one.
I know a foot when I smell one.
There's like smoke in the air,
Yeah, because everyone's like smoking. It's like one of those noir films.
Yeah, film noir, yep. Oh my god, I know a foot when I smell one.
You actually mentioned, this is completely not about feet, but you mentioned how your mom was a gamer. And in my family, it was actually my dad that was the gamer, which is so funny to me now because he's just, I don't know, he's an old man that likes to read his books now. So like I don't know, he doesn't play any games. Although we did have him, this is completely unrelated to the thing I was about to say, but we did download a demo once for, I think Mafia 2 or 3 or something like that. It was just a demo. Wiley and I, my brother and I were wanted to see if we want to play this game. We just had a demo. My dad played literally hours on that demo, and it's like a 10-minute demo that you can get through. Freaking love that game. It was the most amusing thing. And the other game, LA Noire, he loved that game. It's funny what games he loved. It's just hilarious to me. But anyway, when we're talking about early experiences, one of my other earliest games, besides like Spyro, is Crash Bandicoot, and watching him play the crap out of that game because he was better at it than me on the controller. Lots of fun memories just there with him while he played that. But then there was also a game we would play together. We played a lot of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit for the PlayStation 1.
Fun game.
Played the crap out of that. You could race. You could do like the cops and robbers where one person's trying to do a race while the other person's like a cop trying to like pull you over before you can finish the race. Ton of time spent playing that, and that's also kind of in that same PlayStation 1 era, earliest video game memories. I was never very good at actually the story mode or tournament mode. I don't remember what it was called, the tournament mode where you actually play single player and try to win a bunch of tournaments and upgrade your cars and all that. I didn't spend a lot of time on that. I know my dad did. He got pretty far in the tournaments, but could never quite beat the game. I don't think he ever did. And that predates the whole like using an analog stick. I mean, PlayStation 1, so I remember playing that on the D-pad on the controller. So that's some of my earliest games actually playing with a parent. And that was my dad. And that kind of evolved somehow into later when we got a PlayStation 2. We played a lot of Conflict games, specifically Conflict Desert Storm. It's a two-player co-op military shooter, third person instead of first person. And you had like 4 characters, and when we played 2-player, each person had control of 2 of them. We played so much Conflict Desert Storm, but in terms of the early days, when I was still a kid, a little too young for the shooters, Need for Speed was like our jam.
It's funny. I was about to mention, my love for racing games has never left me. I don't know if you know that or not, but it's still one of my favorite genres, but it's kind of a hard genre to get into now, depending on what kind of racer you like.
Yeah, racers
However,
are kind of hit and miss now, I feel like.
they are. I've always been more of a fan of the Need for Speed style games, the more arcadey feel. I'm not a big fan of the Forza games or any of that.
Yeah, if it's a little too realistic, I'm like, I'm not a gearhead or whatever they call themselves.
Right.
I'm not a motorhead or whatever.
And really, that's who that's for. I mean,
Yeah.
those are literally, those are like, yeah, full on everything. You can detail every part of your car. But similarly to me, I did a lot of Need for Speed. I was super into, so during that time, I was probably playing a little bit more of my N64. So on that side, I had Cruisin'. Cruisin' was a super fun, just a wacky, outlandish racing game, and that was an early racing game I loved.
They had
For
that
those of
in
you who-
arcades, didn't they?
Yeah, it was originally an arcade game, and then it
Yeah.
was ported to the N64. Which that game, it's still in arcades. It's such a fun arcade game. If you're in like a place where, I mean, back when we were kids, it was outside the Walmart. So you'd go to a Walmart or something, or like a Kmart, and then you could even in our hometown, I think there might have been, I don't know if it was that game, but there was a racing game outside the Alco. Really far back.
Whoa, was there?
But
I
anyway,
don't remember that. I know I've played Cruisin' in an arcade somewhere because I've played it in at least a couple arcades, but I forget which ones or where.
So the thing that's fun about Cruisin' is obviously it's super wacky. You can like, if you double tap the pedal or the A button on a controller, you can like ramp over other cars and jump over them, and you can do flips in the air. It's just super over the top, but it was kind of an unheard of concept at the time. Now it's kind of you see that in a lot of arcades now with like knockoff games, but that was kind of the first to do it. Or like you even kind of like more risque things, like you'd be driving through and then you'd like there's a herd of cows that run by, and if you hit the cows, a bunch of meat splatters on the screen, and it's like
very zany, very
very zany
whimsical.
90s.
Nothing slows you down really, maybe a little bit, but not much. Like not realistic.
Right, and I loved that game. And then a quick shout out also just to the 3 fans who remember this game on the Super Nintendo. It's a game called Top Gear. Amazing game, probably my favorite racer on the Super Nintendo. So play that if you've got a Super Nintendo and you've got the money to buy that game, because now it's probably not cheap. So, but
or just
racers,
emulate it. I mean, I didn't say that. We were talking about pirating earlier, so I'm like, just
FBI, the same guy. It's like,
FBI,
I can't get a
open
break. He just wants to get home. Oh God, stop talking about illegal things.
stop condoning illicit activity.
Yeah, I guess final shout out I want to say, just in general, and I don't want to dive too much into it. Zelda will always have my heart as my favorite game series, and I played a hell of a lot of Zelda games, specifically A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, as many kids did. So that's what kind of introduced me into the adventure action games, and then that kind of obviously expanded out into RPGs and everything from there. So that was my introduction to that. What was your introduction? Yeah, more to like the action adventure RPG kind. What would you say your first real intro into that was?
Action adventure RPG. That is tough because that is a combination of things that I got introduced to separately. So like in terms of adventure games, like things like Spyro, right? In terms of like RPG, I harken back to like Battle Hunter, which was actually a turn-based tactics RPG that was like set on a board game sort of style of play. So that's my introduction to like RPG action adventure or action RPG. There was this kind of medieval fantasy game that was like rated M that I played as a kid and didn't understand how to play, and I don't remember the title, and it was way too advanced. My uncle Bubba, he would always get us, my brother and I, on our birthdays, like games that we were not old enough to play, and I love him for it, but I do not remember the name of this game. But that was whatever that game was, it was way too dark. You were killing skeletons, you were this burly dude. I don't remember the game. That was an introduction to like action RPG. So those things like separately, I think eventually combined eventually into playing games like what's a good action adventure RPG that came later that I played? You know what? I'd have to think about it a little bit because I'm thinking like Jak and Daxter is like an action adventure, but it's not RPG. And then, what did I play that was
Yeah, I
very
mean,
RPG heavy? I didn't have a lot of early RPGs, I'll be honest. There might be one, but off the top of my head, I'm blanking on a good
I didn't.
RPG.
RPGs are one. I didn't get. That was probably the most recent.
Snap.
By recent. Oh,
Core memory unlocked. No, take it back. Tomba 2.
I've never even heard of that. Tomba 2.
Never played the original Tomba, but Tomba 2. Haha. Core memory unlocked. Tomba 2 was amazing. It is literally an action-adventure RPG. That was an amazing game. Came out, I think it was on the later end of PS1, maybe middle life PS1. I think it was on the PS1. Tomba 2, classic game now. If you get the actual discs, they're worth a lot of money now. They're very sought after. Tomba 2 was amazing. You played as this kind of barbarian kid guy that you're on a quest to like a Tarzan type character, and you're on a quest to defeat these like evil pigs and capture all these evil pigs. And it's kind of like on a 2.5D spectrum for most of the levels, and which was super cool and different from what I was used to at the time.
Kind of Gomani in that way?
Kind of Gomon adventures, Gomon's Great Adventures in that sense, in a lot of ways, actually. But I think a little bit more on the RPG end in terms of different items you collected and could use, and more narratively driven in terms of NPC dialogue as opposed to like cutscenes like you'd get in Gomon. So it was a little bit more on the RPG side of things. Cool. And exploration. Tomba 2. If you don't know anything about it, I highly recommend you look it up sometime. I don't know, emulate it or something. It's amazing.
You know me, I'd rather go back to an old game than a new one any day. So I will probably look into this because FBI, please close your ears. I use Launchbox, so I've got like pretty much any.
Oh, I remember
console
Launchbox. I forgot about Launchbox.
I love it. It's come a long way. I absolutely love that thing. I've got so many consoles, including PS1 on there, so I probably already have it and don't even know it. So
you might.
I will look into that. It looks fun. It looks like it's right up my alley, and I'd love to play.
Yeah, I was sitting here like I can't even think of a good game, and then all of a sudden I just like brain blasted Jimmy Neutron style, and I'm like, wait, Tomba 2.
That is incredible. That's the thing. We'll definitely touch on this topic again in the future because you and I could go on forever, even about just early memories.
Oh, yeah.
But I think now is going to be a great time, Weston, if it's all right, to take all of these beloved characters and maybe ruin them a little bit. What do you think?
I think that would be lovely. Right after this commercial break.
Profoundish is brought to you in part by The Two Piece Podcast, a show where my significant other and I compare and contrast our top 5 lists on a variety of topics. Not only is it fun, but we also provide facts and trivia about our topics. Come laugh, learn, and listen to The Two Piece Podcast on your preferred platform of choice.
Profoundish is brought to you in part by HastilyMadeDecision.com. Get your poetry fix from my poetry blog featuring haiku, senryu, freeform stuff, and more. Again, that's HastilyMadeDecision.com for your poetry fix.
Hello, welcome back to Profoundish.
You're listening to Profoundish.
You're listening to it. You always will be, and you never will not be.
Yes.
You will. It's in your head. I don't know why I said head.
Head.
I was going to say mind, but then I said head and said my head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head. Now I'm just sounding like
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I don't like that.
Get back to what you were saying.
Hey, that's what happens when you put 2 alphas on a podcast.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Right. Just kidding. We're 2 betas. So that being said,
2 beta fish, and beta fish are territorial and typically kill each other. Do not put 2 beta fish in a jar.
It's so weird that you said that because that was a conversation I had with somebody today about beta fish.
Oh my God.
Weird. Very weird because somebody was talking about getting a beta fish for somebody. I don't know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's for our beta fish episode later on in season 4 of Profoundish.
No cat.
So we all know the old game.
Yes.
Kiss, marry, kill.
Yes, that's
right. The concept is simple, right? Concept is simple. You're going to be given. So Weston and I both have come up separately with our groups, and you're going to have a list of 3, and then we're going to read it off to the other guy, and then he's going to have to say which one he would kiss, marry, or kill, and we have to give explanations. So that being said, the topic is video game animals / creatures.
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be really fun. No humans, humanoid animals count, but not humans. It has to be either creatures that can't really be defined or some sort of animal-esque, creature. So I've got a few. I know you've got a few. I'm really excited. Like I said, Weston, you're going to have to give me an explanation for each. You can't just give me a cop-out here. You might want to have Google ready, too, just in case. There's a couple of lesser-known ones that you may not be familiar with. So you might want to do a quick Google search to get a picture or something like that.
I'm going to say the same thing for you. Some of these are things I have experience with, but very likely you may not. So have Google ready, just in case.
Okay, you got it. And everybody listening at home too, same to you. It might be fun to have a little visual aid while you do this. So feel free to join in.
I know on my end, I will give a short explanation of anybody that needs explaining, but other than that.
Yeah, of course. I will do the same. Would you like me to give you yours first? Would you like to give me mine first?
Hey, you're hosting. Your pick.
All right. Okay. I'll read off to you first.
All right.
So we can obviously collect all three any way we want. I kind of tried to categorize them, and I know you did too. So we're going to start... I'm going to start with one. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
We're going to go crocodiles for a second, all right?
Oh, I like this.
We're going video game crocodiles. So here's the three.
I can
Kiss,
think of
marry,
one crocodile.
kill. Is that true? Okay.
I can think of one. We'll see if it's even on the list.
Here's the three. Number one is King K. Rool from Donkey Kong.
Ah.
Okay. We've got Croc. Remember that one?
I absolutely do. My boy Croc.
Yep, I played Croc. And then Vector the Crocodile from Sonic.
Oh, I don't even think I've heard Vector the Crocodile.
Yep, you want to look that one up, trust me. It's worth looking up.
I had forgotten about King K. Rool existing, but that's a name I've definitely heard. I didn't really play Donkey Kong games as a kid, or as an adult, or ever. But I know I've seen him because he's been memed on. I've seen him.
He's in
just
Smash.
In the internet. I think he's in Smash. Croc, game that I absolutely grew up with that we didn't talk about earlier in the episode, but I very easily could have. That was a very difficult game for me as a kid playing because the controls were very difficult. It was just kind of a difficult game at the time on the PlayStation, but I did play that game and love that game anyway. Vector, I don't know. I honestly don't know diddly about this guy. I know very little about Sonic. I know very little about Sonic. I was a fan when I was really little of one of the animated shows. I don't know if it was like the original animated show. I know that's where I learned that Sonic liked chili dogs or whatever, but like I wasn't a super fan. I don't have like a Sonic OC or anything crazy like that.
Right.
So in terms of Kiss, Marry, Kill, if I have to choose who I'm going to smooch and get all romantic with, who I'm going to marry and actually have a long-term relationship with, and who I'm going to murder because I hate their face, I think we're going to just murder off Vector. Sorry, Vector. It's not personal.
Look at those headphones. All right, fine.
You look like a bad boy, and I don't need any more bad boys in my life, you know? I've already been down my dark paths. I'm looking for something that's a little bit more sturdy. So, sorry, Vector. I can't just say goodbye. I can't just let you go. I have to, X you. I have to straight murder you.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
you have to off him, yeah.
You're killed. That leaves me with King K. Rool and Croc. I think honestly...
May I say something before you go on?
Okay.
I do want to mention, and this is kind of goes without saying, but the implication of two implications. One, the implication of kiss. I think we understand where kissing can lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And that is kind of an implication that I'd like to bring up.
It's a
And the
slightly
other
terrifying
implication. Hey, listen. I have a visual mind, so this is going to be interesting for me. And then also the implication of marriage. I would like to say that also implies what kissing is as well, just long term, right? But it's also romantic. But I do want to bring up in most marriages there's also a physical aspect for the long term. So just keep that in mind.
You know, I didn't think what you were going to say would change my mind. And it really didn't. But as you were speaking, I kind of like thought about it, and I've had a slight change of heart here because I think I was originally thinking with my heart, and now that you explain all that, I'm now thinking with my brain.
Uh-oh.
And I think, you know what? The wise decision here. I'm gonna kiss Croc because he's my boy. I love Croc. I love Croc. But King K.
Get down
Rool,
with the croc.
he's a king. He's got like, I don't know, money and stuff. I don't know anything about him. This is an arranged marriage. I don't know or
He's a
feel
big guy.
anything for him. I'm in it for the money. I'm gonna gold dig this crocodile, baby. So
All right.
I'll kill Vector, kiss Croc, and end up marrying King K. Rool.
Oh, that's a marriage for the ages. That's a marriage for the ages.
It's not the way
He's a
I
big
thought I was gonna
guy.
go. I thought I was gonna marry Croc. He's my boy.
He is your boy, but gosh, listen. I mean, hey, nothing wrong with a good kiss. You give Croc a little loving and send him on his way. It's not a big deal. So, well, okay. Yeah, I got the answer that I wanted.
You got the answer you wanted. But is it the answer you deserved? I don't know what
This is
that
the
means.
answer I need.
Here, I've got 3 for you.
All right, let's hear it.
This one, my category is dragons.
Oh, so okay, we're kind of sitting in
Kind
a
of
similar.
similar.
spot.
This
All
is
right.
like the grown-up version of a crocodile, big scaly monster. This is dragons, all right? You have to choose who
All right.
you're kissing, killing, and marrying between Spyro the dragon,
Of course.
Grigori the dragon from Dragon's
Okay.
Dogma, and the gaping dragon from Dark Souls.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm looking up the gaping dragon, which sounds like a drastic departure from the other two.
Maybe a little bit.
What was the second one you said? I'm sorry.
Grigori, it's Grigori.
Grigori. I'm just double checking on this one.
You might have to even do
think I
Grigori the dragon, just in case you just get some pictures of some guy named Grigory or something.
And what's Grigori the dragon from?
Dragon's Dogma.
Wow.
He is a massive, for everyone at home that hasn't played Dragon's Dogma, not familiar, he's a massive dragon. Like, think red dragon, like classic medieval red dragon.
Okay.
That's Grigory the dragon.
So first of all, my main experience it was lots of it is with Spyro.
Yeah.
Don't have a lot of experience personally with Grigori or the gaping dragon.
The gaping dragon from Dark Souls, massive
but-
skeletal dragon that opens up halfway through its body for a giant
Woo!
like opening of teeth and bones. He's got
So
4
here's-
wings. Beautiful creature.
So it actually is quite mesmerizing. So here's what I'm gonna say. Let's start with my boy Spyro.
Yeah.
Let's end with him because I think that's gonna be my easiest answer.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with. I don't know how much Gaping Dragon's gonna be doing for me. You know, there's a lot of opportunity to be hurt. He's very big. He's very spiky. I'm not in it for the hurt. I'm in it for the love, right? So I don't know how I'm gonna physically be able to do this, but I am going to kill the Gaping Dragon. And it's probably going to involve a lot of dodging, if I were to guess. So, I'm going to kill the Gaping Dragon.
I'm not horribly surprised by this, but
Now, we're going to get a little saucy here with the Grigori Dragon. All right. I love the color red. It's not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite colors. And if Shrek has taught me one thing, it's dragons know how to love.
that's right.
And actually, if I can be honest, and this is not a joke, Grigori Dragon's kind of handsome.
He's a
least in this
handsome boy.
picture.
And full disclosure, he's a big giant red dragon. He does speak. You can speak with him. He can speak English.
Oh, thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that with me. Okay.
if this helps with since you're between kissing and marrying, I mean, he is a speaker. He can talk.
So I think this would be a fling, mainly because of the size difference. It's going to be tough to go to parties, maybe vacations. There's going to be some issues there. Transportation would be a breeze, but Yeah, just long term,
A
no.
breeze
But
in
I
more
think
than one way. Those giant wings create quite a gust.
you're telling me. So that being said, I think I'm gonna kiss a little on Gregory here. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Kiss a
Take
little.
that as you will. A
Careful.
little bit of kiss and a little bit of loving.
Anyone at home knows that if you've played Dragon's Dogma, that Gregory has a way of stealing people's hearts. You don't know this, Alex, but Gregory, he's not just a kiss and run type. He's kind of a heart stealer.
Oh, so this might be complicated
This might
when I
be,
end up
yeah.
marrying Spyro.
I think it will be.
So, because he could probably destroy Spyro very quickly, if I
Probably.
were to guess, because Spyro is
Probably.
like not even close to the size of him. So, Spyro, I'm definitely going to marry Spyro. How could I not? You know that I was going to from the beginning, and I'm assuming you would too, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth. But yeah, Spyro he's got a great personality. He's a hero. I actually love his voice, especially like the original voice, not the new ones that they have now. So I would love to wake up to that voice every morning. And yeah, I don't know. He's purple. He's like my size. He can cook s'mores for me really easily because he can blow fire.
That's true. That's true.
So he's very adventurous and fun. And like I said, he's very heroic. I would want that in a spouse. So, plus, honestly, he's very cute. So the kissing and loving shouldn't be too much of an issue either. So.
All right, I think we have our answer. You're killing the gaping dragon, you're smooching the Grigory the dragon, and you are marrying Spyro the dragon.
I think that is correct. Are you ready for your next?
I'm as prepared as I can possibly be.
So I'm not going to tell you the category of my next three.
Okay.
I want you, before you say any of your answers, to guess what the category is.
Okay.
Okay? So here they are. Kirby,
Okay.
Birdo.
Birdo, all right.
Remember Birdo?
So far, I'm thinking the category might be pink.
And Weepin' Bell.
Weeping Bell.
Or Weepin' Bell. Sorry, I'm not a
Weeping
big
Bell, like the
Pokemon guy.
Pokemon? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do they all have in common?
well, two of them have like a snoot. Kirby's big and round. Is it just big mouths?
It's big mouths.
Okay. It's not immediately obvious since Kirby usually doesn't have his giant gaping maw open all the time like Birdo and Weeping Bell, but
Right, but it does get that big.
he does have the big suck.
He's got the big suck. 3 C's.
Well, of these three, I am familiar with two. I know Kirby and I know Weeping Bell. I haven't really played a lot of Kirby games. My biggest experience with Kirby is actually from Smash. Birdo, I have no idea. I don't know anything about Birdo. I do know that on a Google image search, my fifth image is Birdo going to town on an eggplant emoji.
I see it too.
It's the fifth image.
I mean, hey,
so
take it as you will.
that is what it is. But okay, all right. Kiss, marry, kill. All right. Okay, I am familiar with Pokemon. Did watch the original like Indigo League and maybe bits and pieces of other leagues as well. Played many of the games. Red and Ruby were my favorites. I did have Emerald. I did have like Leaf Green. I'm thinking here. I'm thinking like I'm between kiss, marry, and kill on all of these guys, right? I think if I have to kill something, I think I'm still looking at the freaking eggplant picture. You know what?
I can't stop.
I think we're gonna kill Birdo.
Really?
Just I don't know anything about Birdo, so I think Birdo's gotta go. I
There's
can't.
not much to say. That's right.
There's not much to say. I think Birdo. I'm just not feeling it. That giant red bow is just not doing it for me. Not like.
Yep.
Not like Kirby and Weeping Bell are clearly.
I feel like that. I honestly, I feel like that hole it's probably really mucusy and gross.
It is like
you
her
don't know what's in
snout.
there.
It's like her news. Her news?
Yeah.
Her nose.
Her news.
Her news. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but her news. And I think, honestly, while canonically speaking, I think people can technically have relations with Pokemon, and I'm not going to get into that canon if you're not familiar with that. It's kind of like fan canon. It's kind of like deep lore stuff where, I mean, the question becomes like, okay, if we go deep into Pokemon, the question becomes, aren't humans also just kind of Pokemon? But anyway,
interesting. We'll go to that on another episode.
That's neither here nor there. In terms of today, I'm looking at Weepin' Bell, and I'm thinking, I think you're just going to have to be a kisser for me. I think I can't wake up every morning and roll over and see that face and be happy with my decision.
What noise does Weepin' Bell make?
He's just, because they all like say their name. So it's just like a deep,
right.
Weepin' Bell.
Could you, imagine that good morning.
Good morning. Bell. And I just don't think I can do it. So I think it's going to be a one night type thing with Weepin' Bell. And
you can wake up, next to Weepin' Bell one morning.
I think Kirby and I could have a long life together. I think we could be happy. I mean, who wouldn't be with that big old ball of yarn? I think we're going to marry, pun intended, kind of. I think we're going to marry Kirby, kiss Weepin' Bell, but kill Birdo.
All right, I was curious to see what you would do, but I think that all checks out. I think those are some solid choices.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So when you initially sent me, that's right. When you initially sent me, you were like, video game animals / creatures, and in a separate text, not human-esque. So I'm thinking, well,
wait, I said that?
You did, not human-esque. You literally said,
what?
I'm not looking at it right now. I could pull it up. But my point is, when you sent me this.
Oh, no. I contradicted myself. I'm sorry.
When you sent me this, I was thinking, well, what's the most, quintessential animal thing you can get in video games that aren't just literally animals? And I thought this next category is vehicles.
What?
That's right. Two of them you can kind of think of as mounts, and one of them not so much. So number one, your first one for Kiss, Marry, Kill is this one you're familiar with, actually. King of Red Lions from Wind Waker.
The King of Red Lions. Okay.
That's right. Roach, which is the horse from The Witcher 3.
Yes, okay. Yep, I know that.
And this one, out of left field, is President Forrest from the PlayStation 2 classic Road Trip.
I have no idea what that is. President Forrest.
Yes.
I'm looking this all up.
I'm trying to find a good image for you. I'm not getting it, but okay. Here, suffice it to say, he's like a green sedan. I'll send you a picture.
Oh my gosh. I guess that is technically considered a creature because it's living, right?
Yes, these are sentient.
It's like a sentient thing.
Yeah, these are like sentient cars in the game Road Trip. You play as a car.
Oh boy.
President Forrest announces that he's resigning as president, and the next president is going to be the winner of the Grand Prix. That's not how presidency works. That's not how democracy works, but that's how the game works.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yep, I see it now. Okay. So
he's like a green sedan.
So I have a horse, a sedan,
and a boat. Yes. Kiss, Marry, Kill.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a tough one for many reasons. Well, the one thing I do like about all three is that they all have a function that is very useful, which is transportation, right? I can move around. I don't need a car anymore, necessarily. In fact, one of them is a car. So, well, let me start. I'm going to start. I think it's good to start on the negative. Let's start with who I'm going to kill. I think I'm going to kill President Forrest. Look, my car payment isn't that expensive. I'm fine driving a normal car. I don't need it talking to me. I don't need it with motives. I want it to get me to where I'm going. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Okay.
So I'm dropping. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, President Forrest,
Oh no.
but I'm dropping you. You're going to the what's it called where the cars like they get like compacted, the junkyard or whatever.
Sure, junkyard, trash heap, whatever you're gonna say.
You're going to
But
the
he's
junkyard.
a president.
He's going to the junkyard. All right, next.
Oh no.
I have a horse and a boat.
You have a horse and a boat.
Driving through the desert with a horse and a boat.
Gonna have a hard time
Oh,
driving
boy.
through the forest with a boat.
You're telling me.
I tried.
You tried and I'd say you fairly succeeded. So we got Roach here.
Yeah.
I'm familiar. I don't have a strong connection to Roach.
But one way or the
but
other,
I
you're
am
gonna have to
familiar.
get down and dirty with this horse. The question is this gonna be a permanent situation or a one-night stand?
I just realized something. Yeah, you actually helped. You helped me.
Oh no.
Listen, I do not. Let's go back to the I word.
Okay.
Implication, right?
Yeah.
Let's just think about the implications of kissing and other physical activity with a horse.
Well, let's get down
If
with other
anybody's familiar-
activities with a splintery boat.
But listen, if anyone's familiar with the horse anatomy, all right,
Yeah, they
It's
get
a
like
little
a
bit different.
mane, a neck.
it's got a mane, a neck. It also just like any other creature has reproductive organs, and I'm not really interested in a long-term kissing or sexual relationship with that of a horse.
All right.
So I'm gonna have a wild night with Roach, and then I'm gonna send him off into the sunset.
Oh no! It sounds like you're kissing him and then also killing him.
I'm not killing him.
All right.
He's just riding off into the sunset. Oh my goodness, but that's
beautiful.
going to be a rough one. So now we've got the King of Red Lions, which of course, as we know now, I'm going to marry. Now it's splintery, it's red. I do love water. I love swimming. I love boats. And he can speak. So you may not know that, but yeah, he can actually speak. So while you're traveling, he can turn around to you and talk to you about some things. And this is probably something you don't know, Weston.
Okay.
So I know the name is King of Red Lions.
Yeah.
But he is actually a king, and he transforms into a king.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. I figured he must be a king though, because I was like,
So-
okay, I understand marrying him. He's a king. I get it, but
Right. So actually, he's actually the king of Hyrule. He's the Hyrulean king. So,
okay.
so I'm actually definitely wanting to spend my life with the king of Hyrule, especially during this particular era in the Zelda timeline, if I'm in that world. Or if it's in my world, I don't care. He's a king. So that's my answer. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to marry the king of Red Lions. I'm going to have a passionate night with Roach, the horse. And then I'm going to say goodbye to President Forrest, the sedan.
All right. I think that's perfectly fine. I wasn't sure if you wanted to kiss Roach or kiss the president. But I figured you might marry the king of Red Lions. I figured you might.
Oh my goodness. Do we have time for one more?
We got time for one more. Let's do it.
All right. So one more round. So here's my final one. The not topic. What is it? The category is musical. All right.
Okay.
So number one, we've got Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie. He plays the banjo.
I thought you might have him on here somewhere.
One of my favorite platformers. Love it. Next is Parappa the Rapper. The classic dog we all know
I
and love.
almost considered him for one of mine, but I thought he was too human-esque.
I know. I'm sorry I went back and forth with my... I feel so
Oh,
bad.
no, it's okay. It's okay.
And then my final is KK Slider from Animal Crossing.
KK Slider.
I'm not sure if you know who he looks like
Oh,
or
that's
not.
the dog with the guitar. I didn't know his name, but I've seen him around.
Meat maw. He sings like that. Yep.
Kiss,
So we got a
Marry,
banjo
Kill,
player,
or
a guitar player, and a rapper.
two stringed instruments and one vocalist. They could make a
That's right.
band.
They could.
I don't have
That'd be an interesting band.
any experience with playing any of their games, to believe it or not. Parappa the Rapper, my experience with him actually comes from that PlayStation Smash ripoff or knockoff or whatever, the PlayStation All-Stars.
All-Stars.
Which I loved that
Yep,
game.
I remember that.
But that's my experience with Parappa the Rapper. That's a game that I had never actually played on its own before. So I can't say that I actually have any kind of ties to any of these people in particular.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything I have connections to each one, but I don't know if there's anything crucial that I really need to share about any of them. They're all pretty bland in the personality department because that's not really their goals in these games.
Not really what they're
I will say
about.
this. I do want to share something about KK Slider,
Sure.
okay? This just in case, so you know. So perspective here. KK Slider is your very he does have a personality, as you'd imagine in an Animal Crossing game. He's very mysterious. He kind of comes into town. He's a mysterious guy. He plays some songs. You want to know his story, but you never quite learn it all. But he's kind of a very you want to learn more. But he's an
Yeah.
incredible songwriter.
Dark
and then
mysterious.
he just kind of very mysterious. Yeah.
I see. I think that helps me a little bit. Because I think what I'm gonna do. This seems so clear to me. Parappa the Rapper. It's not that I have anything against you. I just think you gotta go.
Look, I'm just not that into rap.
I'm really not, to be honest. I'm not really into rap. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just not really into it. So Parappa,
Not your go-to. Yeah.
I think we should see other people. I think I should see other people. I think apparently you should die.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not seeing anybody else.
I'm gonna go see other people. You gotta go. So we're gonna kill Parappa the Rapper.
Oh my gosh.
And between Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie and KK Slider of Animal Crossing fame, I think because KK Slider, he's a come and go kind of guy, right? He's in one town, wherever the breeze takes him next. You can't settle down with KK Slider. But I mean, to get the inside scoop, to get that little extra that no one else gets to have, I'd kiss KK Slider. I'd smooch up to this dog-faced guitar-playing Enigma. And then that leaves Banjo-Kazooie. He might be off on adventures all the time, and I might not see him very often, but you know what? That's perfect. That's exactly how I would like it. Go do your thing. Go fight that witch or whatever you do, Banjo. I'll take care of the homestead. I'm going to marry Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You know what? Honestly, if I had to pick, I would probably do the same thing. So once again, you are, just for the record, so that's just for our records here, you're going to kill Parappa the Rapper.
That's right.
No looking back. You're going to do a little smooching and loving on KK Slider as he comes into town. And then you're going to marry Banjo in hopes that he'll be on adventures most of the time.
Just go do your thing. I support it 100%, honey.
Right. You're at home, you're working, you're paying the bills so he's able to go adventure.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or he can be bringing home the treasure or whatever the little jiggy puzzle piece, whatever they're
that's
called,
it,
the little
jiggies, yep.
jiggies. They got to be worth
Little
something,
jiggies.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, that's fair.
All right.
All right, you got one more for me?
I do. I'm actually skipping a couple of my themed ones because I think this will just be more interesting to me. This is one where it's just there is a theme here.
Start.
There is a theme though. It's not like a category, but it's a very loose theme, and it's just video game villains.
Okay.
That's right. Kiss, Marry,
The
Kill.
baddies.
Villains here. Kiss, Marry, Kill. You got Raleigh from Sly Cooper.
Okay.
He's a rich frog with a long top hat. You've got.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar. Okay.
Yeah, I think you remember playing
seen
him on
him.
my channel years ago.
Uh-huh.
We got Ripperoo from Crash Bandicoot,
I know who that is.
the crazed kangaroo, and we've got Flibby, the boxing ladybug from Croc.
Okay, Can you tell me that one again?
Flibby, Flibby. He's from Croc. He's a boxing
Croc.
ladybug.
Oh my gosh, this is a memory I haven't thought of in a very, very, very long time.
Core memory unlocked.
Core memory unlocked. Oh my gosh! It's been, oh my gosh.
He's Flibby.
All right. Okay, so I definitely remember Ripperoo. Oh boy. Oh geez, this is interesting. So
Yeah.
first of all, I'm going to just a quick couple comments just based on first glance. So Raleigh, nasty teeth, bad teeth. He has not been to the dentist in a very long time.
If ever.
Yeah, that's not happening.
He's
we
got money.
Ripperoo. He does have money.
He's got money.
I mean, look at that hat. Look at he's a man of class. Or he's not a man, but he's an animal of class.
Long family line of money.
All right. Well,
I'm just putting that out there. It doesn't have to mean anything. I'm just saying.
well, you might have helped me a little bit too there. So, all right. So, let's start with Flibby, shall we?
All right, we'll start with Flibby.
I really don't want to be spending my time with somebody who's always on the offense, always combative, right? And I feel like Flibby. I mean, you're in a fighting rink, right, with Flibby. I don't want to have to fight the person that I love or kiss. So I'm gonna have to say, sorry, Flibby, you're out of here.
Oh no, you're killing Flibby. He's just a little
I have to kill
ladybug.
Flibby. I know, but listen, those legs and the gloves. Ugh, no, goodbye.
No.
So next, we got Ripperoo and we got Raleigh.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, Ripperoo is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think I could have a crazy good time with Ripperoo. So I think I'm going to spend a night with Ripperoo.
All right, you're
I
gonna
think I'm
choose
gonna-
to kiss Ripperoo.
Bouncing off the walls, let's do it. I think it would be fun. My house would be a mess by the end of that night, but
That's
That-
true. You are a
that
neat
sounds-
freak.
right, but it's one night of fun. Let's do it. And you know what, Raleigh? Brush those teeth. I'm moving in. We're getting married.
Oh my god.
We're getting hitched.
That took a turn. I thought for sure you were gonna kill Raleigh when you were talking about the teeth. So I was like, I'm gonna just put it out there. I did not realize this was
Well, no,
it was gonna
the money
180
helps.
so hard.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, you know what? I can get past the teeth. You got the money. Let's do it.
I was hoping, or not hoping, but I was thinking you were gonna actually end up marrying Flibby because it's like, you know, he seems combative on the outside, but you know deep down he's actually a gentle soul.
You know what's funny? Looking at that picture, the one I found, it was like a 3D rendering, but
Uh-huh.
like it wasn't from the game itself. He kind of did look like that.
He's a
He looked
gentle
like deep
soul.
down he's actually a really sweet person.
He was turned into the giant monster that you see before him. Before he was just a gentle ladybug.
I know, but now he's a boxing ladybug. I just can't do it.
And now he's dead because you killed him.
You killed him.
Killed him.
So, wow, I think we learned a lot about each other.
That was amazing.
You know, by the way, really quick, I did have of course, we could do this later on. I won't say who, but I did have a Sly Cooper character in one of my lists, but I actually ended up.
Ooh, did ya?
So I'll just keep it. I'll keep that a secret just in case we touch on this again later. But Weston, this was fun. I really felt like we bonded over this, and I feel like I learned a little bit about you.
I don't know what it was, but I'm glad to know that you married. Who did you marry? I'm glad to know that at the end of the day, you've married Raleigh, the king of Red Lions, and Spyro.
Yeah, who did you marry again? I already forgot.
I forget.
You married
King K. Rool,
King K. Rool,
Kirby,
Banjo,
and Banjo.
and Kirby. Yeah,
What a trifecta.
man, I think you and Kirby could really have a good relationship.
I think
a good,
so.
successful relationship.
I think so. I think he's a cuddler.
Got to be a cuddler.
I'm a
as
cuddler.
long as he
We can
doesn't suck you. So,
No comment.
God, you think about Kirby when he snores, he probably sucks really hard.
That's okay. I sleep like a rock.
That's all right. Well, hey, he can become one. Boom, full
I
circle,
sleep like a rock. I can sleep on a rock.
and he can become one. That works out. Weston, this has been fun, but I think it's time for us to go. But really quick, where can where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me on westonhasty.com. That's my website. It has all the things that I do. I have YouTube channels. I have my own podcast, a Hasty podcast. I have a gaming channel, Magic Man Mo. I have socials. Everything that you could possibly want to know about me, westonhasty.com.
That is perfect and well said. Same goes for me. It's alexduquette.net. You can find everything there. I do YouTube music stuff. I also have a podcast on there called The Two Piece Podcast. If you want to get another podcast fix alongside Weston's, a Hasty podcast, which sometimes I am on. But yeah, that's it. One last thing, too. Just make sure you follow us and leave us a 5-star rating on any platform that allows that if you're listening and not watching.
A like anywhere else.
A like anywhere else. Once again, you can follow us at Profoundish Pod. On where is that, Weston? Once again, it's new to us here, so it's
Profoundish
Instagram,
Pod on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok.
Do the things, as Weston says. Do the things.
Do all the
like
things.
us, rate us, join in on the conversation. Leave a comment anywhere you can on one of the social media platforms, and we'd love to talk more about what you think and who you'd kill, marry, and what's the other one?
Kiss.
And smooch. Let us know. But we're out of here for now. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time on Profoundish. Bye.